Hi everyone, I'm Tiffani Lim, also known as Oling in the esports industry.
Girls Gaming is a Malaysian all female esports team who plays Dota 2. If you haven't heard, they recently won Malaysia a gold medal in the finals at the Global Esports Game in 2003. They won in the Women's Dota 2 category in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So we get to talk to Tiff about how Girls Gaming came about.
We used to compete in small tournaments separately, each of our players in different teams, and we only came together as a full Malaysian lineup in about 2015 for a couple of female tournaments. That's when our team Girls Gaming was founded, and we've since undergone a few roster changes. But myself, Aurora, and iStar X are the remaining founding members of the team. But for myself, I've already taken a step back from competitive gaming. I'm now working more towards behind the scenes stuff, which is why I'm helping to manage the girls team now rather than competing on the main roster.
In competitive games and esports, female gamers face challenges like toxic behavior and gender bias. Stereotypes and online harassment persist, creating a less welcoming environment. Now, the lack of representation adds to this struggle. So, here, Tiff talks about the many different challenges that they face as an all female team.
I would say among the most general and relatable ones that we've talked about plenty of times would be the scrutiny that's placed upon us because of our gender. Gameplay wise, appearance wise, everything from head to toe basically will be judged and commented on by people, and often in a very sexist or misogynistic manner. Sometimes due to gatekeeping mentality or crab mentality. And it doesn't help that the gaming environment itself is already toxic enough as it is. And even if you are mechanically gifted, team games are rarely about individual skills, but more about how the team gels together and form strategies that capitalize on each player's strengths while staying true to the meta. And these are not things that you can just explore and learn by playing on your own. It has to come from the accumulation of experience from playing in countless tournaments in a team setting or consistently screaming or practicing against other teams, and best if you have a coach. So most female players tend to be lacking in that area because of a lack of tournament experience,
Yeah.
or that they tend not to be picked up by male or mixed teams, and that becomes a vicious cycle where our scene and skill levels stagnate. We can't really improve, and even fewer girls get picked up by teams and so on. And one more thing is when we look for sponsorships, sponsors tend to want girls to put their webcam on and stream almost full time. But for female esports teams, we hope to be able to train full time in the boot camp without such obligations, such that we can focus more on improving our skills and discipline. And that's another obstacle that we've ran into many times when seeking sponsorship over the past years.
In the gaming society, community support plays a pivotal role in shaping a positive and inclusive environment. Unlike traditional forms of entertainment, gaming often involves a social aspect where players connect, collaborate, and also compete. This interconnectedness fosters a sense of belonging and support. Now, gamers supporting one another, regardless of differences, contributes to a more vibrant and tolerant gaming society. Ultimately, the support within the gaming society is a two-way street. Tiff talks a little bit more about the support she and Girls Gaming have both received.
Well, I would say that there is support on and off over the years, but we can't really take those for granted that it will happen all the time. I feel like in general there needs to be more female tournaments so that we can foster a sense of competitiveness in female players and let them discover the joy in competing. We do already have a couple of tournaments that we used to play in, like the female C League circuit, and now the Global Esports Games, which has a women's category for Dota. But as long as we aren't seeing female players in the international, which is the biggest pro level tournament in Dota, it means that more work needs to be done to build the scene up bit by bit. First, by giving the girls a safe space and reason and incentive to participate in esports in the form of female-only tournaments. Then we encourage them to further improve themselves by taking part in more open tournaments. Then start to join mix of pro teams and try to qualify to TI. But I feel like sometimes male players are happy with the way the scene is, with it being a sausage fest and not really having female players competing at the highest level. Maybe some like to keep it that way to feel a sense of superiority and keep their exclusive claim over esports, which is also a kind of gatekeeping mentality, by the way. So I definitely hope that over the years, this sort of mentality can come to pass, because having more genders in esports will definitely bring about exciting changes and a variety of playstyles to the pro scene. Basically, they don't know what they're missing out on, and that's why many don't care or want to help. I do hope that things will change as society and the gaming community progresses.
I like that you use the term sausage fest. I'm gonna keep that phrase and use that in the future. That is such a good phrase. With all that being said, we asked Tiff, how can we better the support for female esports gamers here in Malaysia?
So I would hope that the gaming community can perhaps be more encouraging and understanding. Like, for starters, maybe stop saying things like females are not biologically disadvantaged in esports, and so if you're not as good, it's a skill issue, etc. People need to basically recognize that there are so many factors at play here, which led to a clear 100% male gender ratio at the biggest esports tournaments across game titles. That's a fact, and it has been this way for decades now. So try to understand that equity, which we're trying to achieve for the girls, is different from equality. Equality means allocating the same amount of resources for both genders, and equity means going a step further to acknowledge that females are at a lower and more disadvantaged starting point, so more help, support, and understanding needs to be given before the female players can reach the same heights and levels that male players are already at.
In esports, breaking stereotypes and promoting diversity is a game changer. Challenging the notion that gaming is exclusive to a specific demographic opens doors for talent from all backgrounds. Embracing diversity not only enriches the esports experience, but it also dismantles outdated biases. This fosters a more inclusive and vibrant gaming culture. Supporting initiatives that encourage representation, equal opportunities, and respect for all players is key to ensuring the continued evolution of esports as a diverse and welcoming community. So here we talk to Tiff about how female players can contribute to breaking stereotypes and promoting diversity in esports.
I feel like at the moment, what we lack is like a pro level female player or like a role model who can really champion this cause and consistently perform at the top level, so that many discussions about diversity and inclusivity in esports will also start to arise, not just for women, but for other genders as well. So what we need to do right now, I think, is to sow the seeds and nurture the female talents that we have until that day comes where we have a pro level female player, and then we can initiate many much needed, overdue, and healthy discussions in the industry.
Agree completely. We don't really have like a female role model, like
Yeah.
locally, not just locally, maybe when we talk about
No,
Southeast
globally.
Asia, right? Like globally, you can say we have like a lot of female content creators, but we still don't
Yeah.
have like a women
Esports player.
esports who's out there. But I think it goes back to what you said earlier about how us women, we're not given the same opportunities as men do. So
Mm.
it's true. It's hard for, like, they say when you play with players who are better, you get better, right?
Yep.
And when you're playing with the same people over and over again, it's hard to improve because you don't know what exactly you have to improve on, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So we don't get
That's
those
the.
opportunities.
It's actually the same reason why we underwent like 3 months of hell like training before this riyadh. It's we kept fighting against opponents that we knew were better than we were,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can, through screaming with them, expose some of our weak points
Uh-huh.
and then find ways to improve upon them.
I mean,
Because if you keep fighting against opponents who are weaker than you, whom you are better than, then it's actually very hard to find out
yeah,
what you are weak at.
exactly. And
Mm.
it's so frustrating that,
Yeah.
because of our gender, they're like, nah, we don't really want a woman in our team. When we
Yeah.
could be just as good, if not even better than some other players out there.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I feel that the way that women and men look at the game is different.
Yeah.
The way that we communicate are also different, probably because of how our brains are wired differently. So
Yeah.
these are varieties that we're currently missing at the highest levels of competitive esports. Like basically new undiscovered ways to play the game, or exciting strategies or creative play styles that we've yet to see, that will definitely shake out the pro scene.
Yeah.
So like, even though I know for a fact that there have been a lot of female Dota players around, for the longest time now, the pro scene has been a sausage fest. And with that, it's hard to like even initiate discussions about DEI. Like the Me Too movement a few years
Yep.
back was also long overdue. You see a couple of like female talents or content creators making it to the top, but even they are having a hard time with all the misogyny and toxicity. Some were even bullied out of the scene.
Yeah.
So I would say that having an all girls team, or maybe multiple all girls teams, compete in or do well in semi pro or pro level tournaments would be something that can really help in reminding everybody that this is not a male exclusive game. There are female gamers around, and our voices need to be heard.
The future of Dota 2 holds a lot of potential, not only for esports growth, but also for possible global expansion into new regions. Obviously, Valve's commitment to innovation and community feedback will likely shape the game's evolution. Tiff, however, talks about the future of Dota 2 and esports in Malaysia and what needs improving.
I would say with the rapid growth of mobile games nowadays, it's getting harder and harder for PC esports athletes to get sponsorship or support. So truth be told, Dota 2 esports has been on the decline for a few years now. But the fact is that it's still being chosen for many nation-based global tournaments like the International Esports Federation World Esports Championships, Global Esports Game Series, even the recently concluded Asian Games. So I believe that gives our government a reason to step in and help to support the scene a little, or at least guarantee some basic support or infrastructure such that we are able to sustain a few teams and maintain our competitive advantage, because we do have the talents, like the homegrown talents. So if left alone to fend for themselves, I fear that these athletes may no longer find esports to be a sustainable career and may have to move on to find full-time jobs instead. So my hope for the scene would be to perhaps have a basic safety net there for our very talented Dota athletes, be it from the community or like from the private sector or from the government, as long as we can keep on producing podium finishes at these international tournaments and bring our Jalo Gemilang onto the world stage. I think it will all be worth it.
To all female players who may be hesitant to enter the gaming scene due to its male dominated nature, or as Tiff would say, it's sausage fest, she's got a couple of words for you.
First, I would want to tell them that they are very admirable and they have my respect for choosing the esports path when there are so many other easier roads out there. So I would ask them to stay true to their beliefs. Basically, always remind yourself of why you are competing, even though the road to victory might be tough. It will be. It might take many tries before you actually succeed. So just persevere on, keep on honing your skills, improving yourself, and challenging your own limits. Keep a positive mental attitude, PMA, all the time. Stay humble and willing to learn. And when you finally reach the end of the road, the prize and journey combined will definitely be worth it.
A heartfelt thank you to all the incredible female gamers in our local scene. Your skill, passion, and dedication contribute immensely to the vibrant gaming community we share. We appreciate the diversity you bring and celebrate your achievements. So keep gaming, inspiring, and breaking barriers.
I guess, of course, shout out to my team, Girls Gaming. You girls have been the best. And of course, to the local community, not just the gaming community, but the general community who have been super supportive towards us since the beginning of our journey. I remember when we posted the photo of us in our Team Malaysia jerseys at the airport. We were flooded, like the comment section was flooded by a lot of encouragement and people wishing us good luck, mostly Malaysians actually coming in to wish us good luck. um Not sure if they even play games or understand what we are competing in, but they wish us good luck all the same, which is something that we are really appreciative of. And when we won the goal, our comments were flooded with congratulatory messages and also more encouragements, and also people coming in to ask if they can help us in any way, because we did mention a few times that we're not sponsored and we didn't have any budget. So all these, I would like to say a huge thank you to, because they really mean a lot to us. And it's the reason that we're still fighting to this day.